Hi, I'm Bob Nystrom.
Hi, this is Bo Dietl.
Hey, this is Rich Big Daddy Salgado.
Hi, this is Doc Gooding, and you're watching Sports Biz.
Sports Biz.
Sports Biz with LD.
Sports fans, this is Sports Biz with LD.
Welcome to Sports Biz with LD. I'm your host, LD, Larry Davis. Brought to you by the Rampart Insurance Group. For all your insurance needs, the RampartInsuranceGroup.com. 388 Restaurant and Lounge, located 388 Willis Avenue in Roslyn, New York. And A1 VIP Entertainment for all your tickets and meet and greet needs. They are the ones. A1 VIP Entertainment. And of course, SportsBizWithLD.com, Facebook, SportsBizWithLD, and you can tweet me, SportsBizWithLD. I don't see you forgetting any of those because they're all the same. Off my chest, it just doesn't stop bothering me. We spoke about it last week. This Ray Rice debacle from all ends just does not stop, as it shouldn't stop. It's a very, very critical and important thing in this world, whether or not it's regular people like us or a celebrity like Ray Rice. I'm going to show you a clip. Stephen A. Smith, who's on ESPN, on the radio, on TV, used to write for the Philadelphia Inquirer, a major guy, a major personality in sports, like I said earlier, on the radio waves and on TV, was suspended by ESPN for 1 week for this. Mike, roll the tape.
About you. And here's what I mean by that. We keep talking about the guys. We know you have no business putting your hands on a woman. I don't know how many times I got to reiterate that. But as a man who was raised by women, see, I know what I'm going to do if somebody touches a female member of my family. I know what I'm going to do. I know what my boys are going to do. I know what I'm going to have to remind myself that I work for the worldwide leader. I'm going to have to get law enforcement officials involved because of what I'm going to be tempted to do. But what I've tried to employ the female members of my family, some of who you all met and talked to and what have you, is that, again, and this is what I've done this all my life, let's make sure we don't do anything to provoke wrong actions. Because if I come or somebody else come, whether it's law enforcement officials, your brother, or the fellas that you know, if we come after somebody has put their hands on you, it doesn't negate the fact that they already put their hands on you. So let's try to make sure that we can do our part in making sure that that doesn't happen. Now, you got some dudes that are just horrible, and they're going to do it anyway. And there's never an excuse to put your hands on a woman. But domestic violence or you know, or whatever the case may be, with men putting their hands on women is obviously a very real issue in our society. And I think that just talking about what guys shouldn't do, we got to also make sure that you can do your part to do whatever you can do to try to make sure it doesn't happen. We know they're wrong. We know they're criminal. We know they probably deserve to be in jail. In Ray Rice's case, he probably deserves more than the 2-game suspension, which we both acknowledged. But at the same time, we also have to make sure that we learn as much as we can about elements of provocation. Not that there's real provocation, but the elements of provocation, you got to make sure that you address it, because what we've got to do is do what we can to try to prevent the situation from happening in any way. And I don't think that's broached enough, is all I'm saying. No.
Of course he should be suspended. Oh, my God. That's what Stephen A. Smith said? We as men should not provoke it? Is he serious? And he only got suspended a week? That's it? Stephen A., just because you have a mom, sisters, all that does not mean that that kind of stuff is tolerated. And then they did have him apologizing for it. And he seemed contrite, he seemed honest, he seemed like it felt, but everybody apologizes after the fact, after they're in trouble, after there's a problem. Everybody. You want your job back. You want to make sure everything's okay. He's a celebrity. He's on the air. Like he said, he's with the worldwide leader. There's plenty of business there. And there's plenty of people who could take his place. And he'd lose the greatest job in the world. Talking sports all day and getting paid. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And he uses the word provoke. So they're not allowed. He's saying us men can't provoke them. Unacceptable. I have a gentleman calling on the phone. I have a gentleman calling on the phone, a friend of the show, a friend of mine, Stephen R. Stern from the law firm Stern Law. The website is sternlaw.com. He's probably only, doing law over 30, 40 years. His practice in Melville, he moved there. His practice was in Manhattan for many, many years. Welcome to the show, Stephen R. Stern. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Can't complain.
Where are you calling from, by the way, Steve?
I'm in Paris on business.
Must be nice. In Paris on business. That must be nice.
Well, as I said to you, anything. I'm here. I'm always ready, willing, and able for you.
That's what I like about you. So let's get right into it. I just played I don't know if you saw it. Did you see how Stephen A. Smith got suspended? Did you see the piece he did on First Take last week?
Yes, I did.
And so we just played it, and I just got to tell you, him using the word that, us as men, boyfriends, husbands, brothers, should not provoke the women. First, your take on what Stephen A. Smith said, and of course, the deserving suspension.
Well, Stephen A. Smith is a fairly outspoken person on ESPN. He ventures a lot of opinions. I dare say, while he has a lot of people doing research for him and can support all of the opinions he ventures, I would say that any sports enthusiast, but I mean an avid sports enthusiast, could probably spew much of the same stuff that Stephen A. Smith does. He may be more eloquent, more articulate than a lot of people, more vehement than a lot of people, but I don't think he has opinions that are any more diverse or relevant or intelligent than a lot of avid sports fans. Unfortunately for him, as happens with a lot of people, when you speak quickly or fast, he may have said something he regrets. And everybody can say things they regret and want to take them back. But when you're in the public limelight, such as a Stephen A. Smith, or a Ray Rice, or a Greg Hardy, or an Alden Smith, you got to be careful. And what he did was he should not have said that women shouldn't provoke attacks. That's just not a correct statement. I mean, anybody can say, women who walk around in certain garb are more prone to being raped or being beaten by men, but that's just not fair. Does that mean men who walk around in tight jeans should be provoking women to attack them? It's not a fair statement. And in today's society, where we're so taken with the rights of people and trying to be so concerned with the thoughts and concerns about how people conduct themselves, it just was not a proper statement. The worst part of it, in my opinion, and only my opinion, is that it's only a 1-week suspension. And that then speaks to all of ESPN and what they're saying now with regard to the Ray Rices of the world and the Greg Hardys of the world. And I'm not saying they're the same, or the Alden Smiths or the Irsays of the world. Everyone is a different one. But it's not the thing that he should have said. It was wrong. And I think, in my opinion, the suspension was too lenient.
You know something, Stephen, I totally agree, and you made a good point. Let's get to Ray Rice. First thing, let's talk from the law side, and then we'll get into you and I both agreeing that 2 weeks really is a joke. But so from the law side, if I did that, Stephen, okay, they see me. I'm in Atlantic City hotel, the Revel Hotel. They see me dragging my girlfriend out of the elevator. Am I arrested right then and there?
Well, under the laws of New Jersey, there is a domestic violence law. And the domestic violence law has fairly extensive provisions. And it talks to the fact of what a domestic violence complaint would be, who can make it, what happens when it is made, what kind of punishment should be meted out, what the complaining person should or shouldn't do, what the arresting officer should or shouldn't do. But in my opinion, again, only my opinion, there is a glitch in the law. And the glitch in the law is that if you enter a plea, if guilty or not guilty, as the case may be, and I'm pretty certain that's correct, you can get a pre-trial intervention program that you would go into and sort of ends the proceeding. You don't have a trial such as Greg Hardy did, where he was convicted of 2 crimes and has an 18-month probation, a 60-day prison sentence, which he's appealing from. And of course, his facts are different than the facts in the Ray Rice situation, as are the facts different in every situation. You don't find them all 4s being always the same. There is sufficient precedent to have people arrested and really put in jail. The fact of the matter is, what you've got here is high-profile people who are role models. And I think it was Coach Edwards who said on ESPN fairly recently, these things really are against his moral compass. Those are the 2 words that he used. And I thought he really hit it home when Coach Edwards said there is a moral compass, and it's being ignored. And why is it being ignored is the better question. Did Roger Goodell step up to the plate? Did the Baltimore Ravens step up to the plate? And with regard to Ray Rice, he finally apologized, heartfelt, articulate or not articulate, it depends on your vantage point, said most of the right things. But we're talking about July. This happened in February. Where have we been for 5 or 6 months? Why did it take that period of time for a man who was a public figure, who's looked up to by many, many, many people, who's been an NFL All-Star, played in Rutgers? Why did it take him 6 months to step up and say, this was inexcusable, I did a terrible thing? Where has he been for 6 months? That's my biggest question. Where has he been for 6 months? Why didn't he step up right away after the incident occurred, and after he went into this intervention program, say something? Where has he been? And more importantly, where has the Ravens organization been? Where has Goodell been? There is a policy, the personal conduct policy in the NFL that has been violated. Yes, I know there's collective bargaining, and I know all the collective bargaining agreements that apply, but where have these people been? This is a domestic violence. The beating up of women, girlfriends, fiancés, wives is a horrible, terrible thing. Yet, why have we waited 6 months for something to be meted out, and now only a 2-game suspension? I don't understand that.
Well, to get back to the legality, so you're saying in Jersey that the first time is okay? Anyone, celebrity or not, can get away with it the first time and go into this program?
I'm not going to say get away with it. They have to enter into this program. And if they do, it's called a pre-trial intervention program. They have an ability to avoid jail time.
Wow.
Especially if it's a first offense.
You know, so on that note, let's get to some other good points that you made. One, I totally agree with you. Stephen A. Smith only getting a week is the same thing as Ray Rice getting 2 weeks. It seems like ESPN loves to hire guys like that. And then, of course, if they do something that they don't love, then all of a sudden, oh, we don't agree with that, and they suspend him. And then you have Goodell, who only gives him 2 games. And we haven't heard from Roger Goodell. That's another point.
We had him today.
Oh, he did today?
He's finally answered some questions today.
What did he say? Because I did not see that.
He answered some questions, and he said that he felt that the apology by Ray Rice was truly, and my words, heartfelt, that he stepped up to the plate, that he took responsibility, he acknowledged he was wrong, he said it was his first and only mistake. We don't know that, but we have to assume that, because that's all we know about, and I don't mean to be demeaning anybody or saying somebody did anything wrong. I don't know. But he feels that under the personal conduct policy of the NFL, as well as the collective bargaining agreement by the Players Association with the NFL, that this was a fair penalty, which sort of makes one scratch one's head when one considers people like Ben Roethlisberger, who was sued civilly in 2008, I believe it was, or 2006, I'm not quite sure, but for
sexually assaulting that girl in Colorado.
Well, then there was a second one.
Right, good point.
I believe
Yes.
it was in Atlanta, and he was finally suspended, even though he had not been charged with a crime. They needed a second one. He was suspended for 4 or 6 games, depending upon which report you read, and I have no present recollection of which it was. But they stepped up right away. Why did we wait for this extended period of time to step up? And why isn't the Ravens organization stepping up behind the NFL or in tandem with the NFL, and likewise suspending Ray Rice for additional time?
Exactly.
We don't know the answer to that.
Exactly.
We don't know the answer to that.
The other thing is to get back to him and the fiance. It took so long, 6 months, for him to finally come out there and say anything. And what was he trying to say? Honey, let's make sure we get married. Or maybe that was her play. So let me tell you something, Ray. If you don't marry me, because again, as a fiance, she's not going to touch all the millions of dollars, because they have one child, so she'd get some of the money, but she wouldn't get all the extra millions of dollars and the lifestyle of being married to an NFL player. Maybe that had something to do with it. And because maybe, like, I'm thinking it might have happened before, and then once they're married, she's like, oh, okay, honey, we'll forget about that and let's move on.
Yeah, but it's a bigger question. It's really a bigger question. And I know there are studies that when a man in a relationship, girlfriend, fiance, wife, hits that person once, and I don't mean hit, he knocked her unconscious.
And dragged her out of the elevator. And dragged her out of the elevator, Stephen.
Totally. He didn't just smack her across the face or punch her in the arm. He knocked her unconscious. When something like this happens once, there are studies that will establish that it's going to happen again. It's sort of a recidivist type behavior. And why any woman would allow herself, money or no money, to be potentially subjected to that type of recidivist behavior is far beyond me. Because you could want all the money in the world, and I understand that, and you could want all the fame and the glory in the world, but if the guy hits you again, perhaps he hits you improperly in a wrong place at a wrong time, and you're dead. What did you accomplish?
Right.
Then we'll have another I'm sorry. And I'm not suggesting Ray Rice would do that, or that any man or any woman would do that. But there are studies that establish this recidivist behavior. Why put yourself in that place? Why put yourself in that possible position?
And to jump in, Stephen, also, most of the time when you get caught isn't the first time. You usually don't get caught doing anything the first time you do something. Just my thought. And who knows if there's other women from years back, girlfriends, who might have been hit or pushed or whatever by Ray Rice. I had to bring you on, Stephen.
We certainly don't know that, and we certainly can't say that. Anybody can speculate about anything and venture an opinion. But the fact of the matter is that while that may or may not be true. What we do know is true is that this woman was knocked unconscious in February of 2014 in an elevator in Atlantic City. We know that. It's on tape.
And you know what else we know, Stephen? That he got a slap on the wrist from the NFL. He got a slap on the wrist from the Baltimore Ravens. And he got a slap on the wrist from New Jersey. Because this guy is getting away with what he did and moving on with his life. Stephen, I really appreciate you coming on, calling in from Paris. Stephen R. Stern, law firm SternLaw.com. Stephen, friend of the show. Hopefully when you get back from Paris, maybe you'll come in the studio, because you and I can keep going all day, and we could sit here for 30 minutes and talk some other sports.
That would be wonderful. I'd like, you know me, I love sports, and anything about sports would be my pleasure.
Right.
It's
just hard to get you in here. Stephen, it's just hard to get a lunch date with you or get you in here.
We'll do it, I promise. I'll be back Tuesday.
Stephen, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Take good care, Larry. Bye-bye.
Okay. Stephen R. Stern, law firm SternLaw.com. Yeah. He had all the answers. He knew, did his homework. That's the law in New Jersey. That you pretty much can hit a woman, whether it's your wife, girlfriend, fiance, sister, mother, cousin, hit a woman. Totally unacceptable in this world. And the way this was handled, like I just said. NFL, whether it was the league, Players Association, they always hide. They're not saying anything because he's one of their own, so they're a union. They don't want to do anything wrong. To me, it's also like drugs. You know, the NFLPA had to jump in and make some rules for drugs. You got to jump in and make some rules here. That's unacceptable. And if Roger Goodell, the commissioner, would have said, you know something, this is the start. First-time offenders are going to get 2 games. That was a way maybe Roger Goodell could have protected this ruling, which I don't know anyone who agrees with it except Ray Rice, his wife, and family. We could talk all day, but we got to move on because there's so much more going on in sports. Let's talk about the Jets. Jets. Again, they're yapping. I mean, the Jets haven't done anything. Nothing. They're coming off an 8-8 season with winning the first game by that stupid penalty in Tampa Bay. If everyone remembers, they wouldn't have won that game. A couple of games last year, but everyone will say there's a couple of games in everyone's NFL season where they win some games that they shouldn't have. Rex, you're 8-8. And you're okay with Geno Smith saying, I'm a top 5 quarterback in this league. Who? Geno Smith? I don't know. Geno, you ever hear of Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers? That's just 3. That's just 3 guys off the top of my head. Eli Manning? You're breaking in with those guys? I don't think so. It's nice for you to be confident, say you'd like to. You know, at the end of this year, you want everyone to see who's a top 10 quarterback in the league, top 5. It's great that you have the confidence. Everybody in the NFL, every professional athlete has that level of confidence. Then let's go to D. Milner. Jets' #1 draft pick last year. He said, he didn't say I'm one of the top cornerbacks. He said, I am the best cornerback in the NFL. Did you hear that, Darrelle Revis? Did you hear that, Richard Sherman? Are you serious, D? Maybe the #1 quarterback in the NFL got benched 3 times last year. Are you really serious? And then you got Rex. He loves the bravado. Well, Rex, you had your own Dennis Thurman, defensive coordinator of the Jets. He said talking does not get you anywhere in the NFL. D. Milner. It's not getting you anywhere. And then Mike Westhoff, who was a special teams coach of the Jets till last year. So he was with the Jets a long time. Okay, with the Jets when they went to the 2 AFC Championship. With the whole time that Rex Ryan has been in charge. And the Jets play in Cortland University. He said the other day in an interview on ESPN that he believes D. Milner is not even the best cornerback at that university. That university's college. Are you serious, Rex? And then you're okay. We love the bravado. That's the Jets' way. Jets' way is 8-8. Okay? Jets' way is in the last 3 years, you're under 500, Rex. I was one of many who said you should not come back. I love the bravado. But, Rex, you serious? You want to tell Belichick you're going to beat him too? First game the Pats play the Jets, pick 6. Okay, Darrelle Revis is pick 6ing Geno. I'm a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's unbelievable. Let's move on to the Giants. Okay, on the Giants, new offensive coordinator, Ben McAdoo, came over from the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is pretty good. Can't say he wasn't. And then you have Danny Langsdorf, the Giants quarterback coach. Now, who is he? I mean, I don't get it. How do you become a quarterback coach? You didn't play the position well where everybody knew you. He wasn't great in college, didn't play in the pros. He was the offensive coordinator at Oregon State. And the players that passed through when he was there, I got the names here, I don't even know who they are. And he's saying that Eli should complete 70% of his passes. You serious? Danny, it's Eli Manning. You're telling him he should complete 70% of his passes. It's only been done a couple of times in the NFL. Drew Brees, that's another one, top 5, Geno Smith. Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Montana has done it. And I'm not saying Eli's not like them. Eli's got 2, Super Bowl MVPs. 70%? I mean, who are these guys taking over for the Giants on offense? I'm sorry. I don't like it at all. Telling Eli 70%. There's just so much to get off my chest. It's just unbelievable. Let's talk about the New York Knicks. Carmelo Anthony. Can anyone just get up to the microphone and say, must be the money? Now, Carmelo, are you serious? You're trying to tell us in your press conference last week that you came back to the Knicks not for the money. The most you could have gotten with Chicago, which was the other team you said you wanted to go to, was $91 million. You signed with the Knicks for $124, and you're trying to tell us that extra 24 and 9, what is that, 33, Dave? $33 million is not the reason you came back to the Knicks. You came back because you see the Zen Master, Phil Jackson's vision. Are you kidding me, Carmelo? Can anyone please just go there and say, I came here for the money? Is that a bad thing? When again, this is Sports Biz with LD. Sports is all business. So what's the problem? I'm glad he's getting his. There's nothing wrong with that. But can't you just raise your hand and say that's why? If it was $5 million difference, $6 million, $30-some-odd million, you leave it on the table. I said this for a year already when people were talking about it. I said he's going nowhere. He's not leaving $30 million on the table. Nobody would leave $30 million on the table. Nobody. If he did, then you got to say, bro, you're crazy. You are crazy. And last but not least, we're going to talk a little bit about the MLB trades. If I can find my sheet here with the information of the trades that were done. Well, the first one is John Lester. John Lester leaving the Boston Red Sox. Wow. I mean, is that a big one? I mean, who would have thought that John Lester would be traded? Boston makes the big trade with the A's. The A's are just going for it. They are not messing around. The A's are like, this is this year. Either it's not going to happen this year, it's not going to happen. The Yankees do a little bit, not much, couple little nothing trades. They already got Chase Headley. They already got Brandon McCarthy. Mets didn't do anything, but Johnny Lester. And for Yoenis Cespedes, who's a very good player, this is a great deal for the Red Sox. Because now the Red Sox get a great right-handed hitter. He's locked up for the next couple of years. Johnny Lester said he's going to come back. What a nice deal if the Red Sox get Lester back. And, of course, Yoenis Cespedes stays with the Red Sox. Well, he's going to because he was traded. He's got a 2-year deal, so he's not going anywhere. Lester comes back, that's big. Then the Cardinals acquired Justin Masters from the Indians for nothing. And then David Wells. I'm sorry, not David. David Price of Tampa Bay got traded to the Tigers. So now you got to look at it. It's the Tigers, it's the A's, and maybe the Los Angeles Angels. That's it. The rest of them are not making it. Boy, it's amazing. I want to thank Steve Stern. Appreciate it. You know, the guy could keep going. I mean, the knowledge is there. He knows all about other players. He's had plenty of celebrity clients. We're not here to talk about them. It's not how we roll it. It's not how Steven rolls. But if you need Steven, his law firm is the place. There's no doubt about it. Steven R. Stern, SternLawGroup.com. I want to thank the Rampart Group Insurance for all your insurance need, RampartGroupInsurance.com. I want to thank 388 Restaurant and Lounge, 388 Willis Avenue, Roslyn, New York. I want to thank A1 VIP Entertainment for all your ticket needs and meet and greets. And I know that we had people on the show last week who won tickets to Rocky. They said it was great. I spoke to them. They told me it was a great show. They can't believe they're closing the show. And of course, I have to thank the Daily Blue. Without the DailyBlue.com, I will not be here. Again, SportsBizWithLD.com is the website. Tweet, SportsBizWithLD. Facebook, SportsBizWithLD. I want to thank my producer, David L. Martin, and my boy, Mikey, in the booth. SportsBizWithLD. I'm your host, Larry Davis.
Sports Biz is sponsored by the Rampart Insurance Group for all your insurance needs. Special thanks to MintPros.com. Brought to you by the Daily Blue Network. Sports fans, this is Sports Biz with LD.